What if the reason she's not interested in you isn't because you're not good enough, but because you're showing up the wrong way? Think about it. You text her, you try to impress her, you give attention, compliments, effort, and still nothing. Cold replies, delayed responses, zero excitement. Meanwhile, there's another guy who's doing less than you, saying less than you, and somehow she's drawn to him. Why? Because attraction doesn't work the way most men think it does. You don't convince a woman to like you. You trigger emotions that make her feel something for you. And here's the truth no one tells you. A woman can go from not interested at all to completely obsessed with you if you understand the psychological switches behind desire. In this video, you'll learn exactly how to flip that switch, how to go from ignored to intriguing, from just another guy to the man she can't stop thinking about. But be careful, because once you understand this, you'll never approach attraction the same way again. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop chasing and start being desired? 1. Why she's not interested. The brutal truth most men ignore. Break the illusion that attraction is about effort. Explain how over-pursuing, over-texting, and trying too hard kills mystery. Introduce the idea that lack of interest is often a reaction to your behavior, not your worth. Connect with avoiding neediness, recognizing early rejection signals, and redefining attraction as emotional, not logical. 2. The psychology of attraction. You can't convince, you must trigger. Explain that desire is emotional, not rational. Women respond to feelings like curiosity, tension, and excitement. Introduce the concept of emotional spikes, unpredictability, and why nice logic fails. Tie into understanding attraction triggers and influence psychology ethically. 3. Stop chasing, start creating curiosity. Explain how pulling back attention increases perceived value. Show how scarcity works and why being too available kills desire. Introduce delayed responses, selective attention, and letting her invest. Covers avoiding friend zone traps and building mystery. The power of emotional detachment, why it changes everything. Teach how emotional independence increases attraction. Cover handling rejection calmly, not reacting to her behavior, and maintaining inner stability. Connect to stoicism, masculine energy, and turning rejection into power. Show female tests when she's not interested, hidden opportunities. Reveal that even disinterest can be a test. She may ignore, challenge, or act cold to gauge your reaction. Teach how to pass by staying calm, playful, and unbothered. Include recognizing manipulation, micro-expressions, and attention-seeking behavior. 6. How to shift from nice guy to intriguing man. Break down the difference between approval-seeking versus self-respecting behavior. Introduce subtle dominance, boundaries, and not over-validating. Explain how unpredictability and self-control build attraction. So mastering nonverbal attraction, what you don't say matters more. Focus on eye contact, posture, tone, and silence. Show how confident body language creates tension without words. Include reading her signals and controlling presence. Using playful teasing and humor to spark interest. Explain how teasing creates emotional contrast. Teach light push-pull dynamics and how humor lowers resistance while building connection. Covers conversation flow and emotional bonding. Creating sexual tension, gradually and respectfully. Teach how to build anticipation without rushing. Include timing, reading cues, and balancing comfort with excitement. Emphasize consent and awareness. 10. Detecting if she's truly not interested and when to walk away. Explain the difference between low interest and no interest. Teach recognizing consistent disinterest, disrespect, or lack of effort. Covers protecting time and emotional energy. 7. Building value. Outside of her, the ultimate attraction hack. Explain how lifestyle, purpose, and ambition increase attraction. Women are drawn to men with direction. Covers social proof, status, and independence. 12. Turning rejection into attraction. The psychological flip. Show how walking away confidently can increase desire. Explain how absence and non-neediness create curiosity and respect. 13. Long-term attraction. Keeping her interested once it starts. Explain consistency, emotional variation, and not becoming predictable. Teach maintaining excitement and respect. 14. Boundaries that make her respect you more. Teach saying no, not tolerating disrespect, and setting standards. Explain how boundaries increase perceived value and attraction. 15. Becoming the man women desire naturally. Final transformation. Stop trying to win her. Become the man worth choosing. Focus on self-respect, purpose, and inner confidence. 1. Why she's not interested. The brutal truth most men ignore. Let's start with something most men don't want to hear. She's not uninterested because you're not good enough. She's uninterested because you're too easy to understand. Think about your behavior. You text quickly. You reply with effort. You try to impress. You give attention freely. On paper, it looks right. But emotionally, it kills attraction. Because when a woman already knows you like her more than she likes you, you're always available. You won't walk away. There's no challenge, no curiosity, no emotional tension. And attraction needs tension. This is where most men confuse logic with psychology. They think, if I show her I care, she'll care back. But attraction doesn't work on fairness. It works on emotional experience. If being around you feels predictable, she loses interest. If being around you feels slightly uncertain, she leans in. That's the brutal truth. You didn't lose her because you lacked value. You lost her because you showed all your value too early, too fast. And once there's nothing left to discover, her curiosity dies. 2. The psychology of attraction. You can't convince, you must trigger. Here's the shift that changes everything. You don't convince a woman to like you. You trigger her to feel something. Attraction is not a decision. It's a reaction. She doesn't sit there logically analyzing you like a job interview. She feels you, your energy, your presence, your vibe, and that feeling is created through curiosity, uncertainty, emotional spikes. This is why some men say very little, yet attract deeply. They're not over-explaining. They're not trying to impress. They're creating space for emotions to grow. Because when you explain too much, you remove imagination, and imagination is where desire lives. The moment she starts wondering, why is he like this? Why doesn't he react? What is he thinking? You've already won, because now she's emotionally engaged. 3. Stop chasing, start creating curiosity. Chasing feels productive, but it destroys attraction. Why? Because the more you chase, the more you signal that she's above you, and attraction requires balance. Instead of chasing, you create curiosity. How? By pulling back slightly. Not disappearing, not playing games, but simply not overgiving. You don't reply instantly every time. You don't always initiate. You don't over-explain yourself. And suddenly, she starts noticing your absence. She starts thinking, why isn't he reacting like other guys? And that thought creates curiosity, and curiosity is the beginning of attraction. The power of emotional detachment, why it changes everything. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're not controlled by outcomes. You can like her without needing her. That difference is everything. Because when you need her, you act differently. You overthink. You overtext. You overinvest. But when you're detached, you stay grounded. She pulls away. You don't panic. She tests you. You don't react. You stay calm. And calmness is power. Because in a world full of reactive men, the one who stays centered stands out instantly. So female tests when she's not interested, hidden opportunities. Even when she seems uninterested, she's still observing you, testing you, not consciously, but emotionally. She might ignore your message, respond dryly, challenge you. And most men fail here. They try harder. They explain more. They chase attention. But the right move? Do less. Stay relaxed. Mirror her energy. If she's distant, you don't chase. You match. And suddenly, the dynamic shifts. Because now, you're not reacting. You're choosing. 6. How to shift from nice guy to intriguing man. Being nice isn't the problem. Being predictable is. The nice guy gives without boundaries. The intriguing man, he gives selectively. He doesn't seek approval. He expresses himself freely. He's okay disagreeing. He's okay walking away. And that creates something powerful. Respect. Because attraction without respect never lasts. 7. Mastering nonverbal attraction. What you don't say matters more. Most attraction happens in silence. Eye contact, posture, tone. Hold eye contact just a little longer. Speak slower. Pause before responding. These small things create tension. And tension creates desire. using playful teasing and humor to spark interest. Attraction grows in emotional contrast. Teasing creates tension. Humor releases it. That push-pull dynamic, that's what keeps interactions alive. Instead of always agreeing, challenge her playfully. Make her laugh. Make her feel something. Because emotions build connection. Creating sexual tension gradually and respectfully. Rushing kills attraction. Tension builds slowly through eye contact. Proximity. Tony, you don't force it. You allow it. And when the moment feels right, you move forward, confidently, respectfully. 10. Detecting if she's truly not interested and when to walk away. Not every situation can be flipped. Sometimes, she's just not interested, and that's okay. The real power, knowing when to walk away. If she never initiates, shows no effort, disrespects you, you leave. Because chasing disinterest destroys self-respect. 7. Building value. Outside of her, the ultimate attraction hack. The most attractive men are focused on their own life, purpose, goals, growth. They don't rely on women for validation, and that independence creates attraction naturally. Because you're not trying to impress her, you're building a life she wants to be part of. 12. Turning rejection into attraction. The psychological flip. Rejection isn't the end. It's a filter. And when you accept it calmly, something interesting happens. You become rare, because most men react emotionally. But you stay composed. And that composure creates curiosity. 13. Long-term attraction. Keeping her interested once it starts. Getting attraction is one thing. Keeping it? That's different. You need emotional variety. Space. Consistency. Too much predictability kills desire. Growth keeps it alive. 14. Boundaries that make her respect you more. Boundaries define your value. You don't tolerate disrespect. You don't overgive. You protect your time. And when you do that, people respect you more, including her. This is where everything changes. Most men spend their lives trying to win a woman, saying the right words, sending the perfect message, adjusting themselves just to be liked. They think attraction is something you earn through effort. But the truth is far more brutal and far more freeing. The moment you start trying to win her, you've already lowered your value. Because desire is not negotiated. It is felt. And it is felt instantly. This is the final shift. You stop trying to be chosen, and you start becoming a man who is the choice. You redirect your energy inward. Instead of obsessing over her replies, you build your discipline. Instead of overthinking her behavior, you sharpen your focus. Instead of chasing attention, you create a life that demands respect. You become stronger, not just physically but mentally. A man who can sit in silence without needing validation. A man who doesn't crumble when ignored. A man who is grounded in himself. Because strength is not loud. It's not showing off. It's control. Then you become calmer. You stop reacting to everything. You stop letting emotions dictate your actions. You don't get pulled into drama, tests, or games. Where other men panic, you remain steady. And that calmness, it's rare. In a world full of impulsive reactions, a man who stays composed feels powerful. Safe, mysterious, different. And then you become focused. You have direction. A mission bigger than attraction. Bigger than dating, bigger than approval. Your life is moving somewhere. And here's what most men don't realize. A woman is naturally drawn to a man who is already in motion, not chasing her, but building something, because she doesn't want to be your purpose. She wants to join a man who has one. This is where the shift becomes undeniable. You no longer feel the urge to impress. You don't over-explain yourself. You don't seek constant reassurance. Your presence starts to speak for you. You walk differently. You talk differently. You decide differently. And people feel it even if they can't explain it. Especially women. Because attraction was never about techniques. It was never about lines, tricks, or strategies. It was always about who you are being. And when you truly become that man, strong in his mind, calm in his emotions, focused on his path, something powerful happens. You stop chasing, not because you're playing hard to get, but because you genuinely don't need to. Your energy changes, and that energy pulls people in. Conversations become easier. Respect comes naturally. Interest builds without force. Because now, attraction is no longer something you are trying to create. It becomes a byproduct of your existence. And that is the highest level of power a man can reach. Not needing to convince means you've let go of the silent desperation most people carry. You're no longer trying to explain your worth. No longer over-talking, oversharing, or over-performing just to be understood. Because deep down you know something most never learn. The right people don't need convincing. They feel you, and that changes everything. Not needing to pursue doesn't mean you become passive. It means you stop chasing what is not aligned. You move with intention, not hunger. You approach when it feels right, and you walk away when it doesn't. There's no fear in losing someone who doesn't see you, because you're no longer trying to be seen by everyone, only by the right ones. And that restraint, that quiet selectiveness, it creates a presence that people can't ignore. Not needing to prove is where real power begins. You don't argue to win. You don't show off to impress. You don't seek validation to feel enough. Your actions speak. Your consistency speaks. Your life speaks. And the louder your life becomes, the quieter your words need to be. Because a man who knows his value doesn't waste energy announcing it. He lives it. Just being sounds simple, but it's the hardest level to reach, because it requires you to strip away everything fake. All the masks, all the need for approval, all the habits built from insecurity. And what remains is something raw, something grounded, something real. A man who is fully present, fully aware, fully in control of himself. No forcing, no pretending, no chasing, just existing in his own energy. And when you reach that level, something shifts in how the world responds to you. People feel your presence before you speak. They notice your calm without knowing why. They respect your space without you demanding it, because authenticity carries weight. And most people have never felt it at this level. You don't just become attractive. You become rare, the kind of rare that stands out in a crowded room without trying to be seen. The kind of rare that lingers in someone's mind long after you've left. The kind of rare that makes people wonder, what is it about him? And they won't find a clear answer, because it's not one thing. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you choose yourself, the way you refuse to settle, chase, or beg for attention. It's everything, combined into a quiet force. And that's what makes you unforgettable. Not noise, not effort, not performance. Presence. A presence that cannot be faked. A presence that cannot be ignored. And once you embody that, you don't just change how others see you, you change how you see yourself. And that is where true power begins.